Hello and welcome to Picture Astrology. Today we will talk about placement of Moon in the sign of Capricorn, which is a sign known as the Adi Bhautik sign in Vedic Astrology. And it literally means that this is the peak of earthy or physical nature. And it is said by many of the traditional Vedic astrologers that people born with Moon in Capricorn have physical prosperity and success in material world as one of their primary aims of life. And in many ways this environment is very conducive for all kind of physical activities, for all kind of business related activities. So apart from this aspect, we will also see the important physical as well as mental and emotional implications of placement of Moon in the sign of Capricorn. And as always, our emphasis will be on the practical side or ability to relate this with the day-to-day implications in your life. So if you look at some of the basic parameters which define a particular sign, then Capricorn is an earthy sign with active nature. The cardinality is active. It is ruled by Saturn and its symbol is a mythical character with head of a ram and the rear body that of an alligator. And some people also view it as a fish, or the rear part as a fish. Now if you see closely to these parameters, a lot of the qualities of this sign can be understood. Now, this being an earthy sign, and as we know the hierarchy of the signs in terms of how they originated, which I have described in some other video as well, is this, that the space being the first element which came into existence and earth being the last one. And this basically points towards the physical nature of this sign. And if you see the cardinality, see the basic nature of earth is that it remains static or inertia, and the most sophisticated form of earth is the active cardinality of earth, and therefore this sign is always associated with peak physical attainment. And not just Moon, any planet, absolutely any planet in the sign of Capricorn shows deep involvement and interest in worldly things. Now those things could be anything like getting a big house, good name in the workspace, getting that big promotion, having enough money, sensual pleasures, basically everything related to the physical world. And more so with Moon, because Moon is the ultra repository of your emotional self. So a person born with Moon in Capricorn generally is not only inclined towards physical attainments but also endowed with those qualities. See, to be successful in this life or in the physical world, you have to be very resourceful. You should be able to work and sustain and come out of any situation. And you see this symbol, ram, which is a very aggressive and active animal in the earthly plane, and alligator, which is equally aggressive and efficient in the watery side. So the combination of these two gives a personality which is really resourceful and quite ingenious when it comes to working and getting things done in real life. Now the flip side of that is that these people generally do not like impractical ideas or impractical thoughts. They are generally not inclined towards philosophical things or bookish knowledge or just theories. Theories and just talking about books doesn't satisfy them. They are best learners when you show them practically how things happen. These are people who would do very well in the lab when they get their hands dirty, when they get things done in real life. They are not going to be great with say PowerPoint or PPT or making presentation and planning for 5 years or 10 years, but executing those plans on the ground is generally the specialty of the Capricorn folks. And in some ways, this is also the reason why Jupiter, which is the planet with no surface, I mean, if you see Jupiter as a planet, it is made up of primarily gaseous material. It has, in fact, not even has flat or hard surface, and thus Jupiter represents everything related to philosophical teaching. Jupiter hates getting hands dirty and working on day-to-day affairs. That's not Jupiter's natural inclination. Day-to-day activities does not excite Jupiter. And Capricorn is all about practical implementation of ideas on the ground. So Jupiter naturally feels uneasy in any of the earthy signs, but more so in the Capricorn, which, as I said in the beginning, is known as the Adi Bhutika sign, meaning the highest manifestation of physical or earthy qualities. So we saw how the temperament of Moon in Capricorn is great for practical on the ground work and not suitable for hollow theories. But Moon in this case is still in the sign ruled by Saturn, and Capricorn is the own sign of Saturn. It is not in the Mool Trikona region. And if you have seen my video about Mool Trikona sign and how exactly they differ from the own sign, you would know that when you talk about Swagrahi Rashi or sign ruled by a planet which does not fall in the Mool Trikona, then that sign actually shows both good as well as bad qualities of that particular lord. So what this shows is that yes, Moon in Capricorn endows a person with the temperament and also ability to work hard towards their physical goals, but Saturn, being the lord of it, also gives a personality which is invariably going to exhibit signs of laziness. And this is a very typical thing with Moon in Capricorn, that sometimes they could be really lazy, probably not keeping themselves well, also disheveled and whatnot. And at other times they would be, suddenly all cylinders firing when working hard towards their goal. So this transition from a lazy to extremely active personality can sometimes really surprise the other people, who do not know these people closely enough. And obviously the extent to which these kind of fluctuation happens depends on the placement of Saturn in your chart. So if Saturn is really well placed, the person will be mostly active and alert and working towards their goals. But even in that case, just by being in the sign of Capricorn, this transition between laziness and active phase definitely happens with this placement. Now coming to the physical features of this sign. Now generally speaking, a lot here depends on the placement of Saturn, and I personally find this placement a little tricky when it comes to the physical characteristics. But if this moon has any effect on the ascendant, then hair generally remains coarse, a little bit thick, not too long, and generally coarse appearing. And as I said, I found a large difference in physical appearance depending upon the placement of Saturn, and also due to the fact that this sign, like the sign of Sagittarius and some other signs we have seen in past, have a clearly distinct personality in between the first 15 and the second 15 degrees, because the first 15 degrees is symbolized by more fiery ram, and the second 15 degree is more symbolized by the watery animal of alligator, or some people also call it as like a fish. So friends, this was my very quick analysis of moon in the sign of Capricorn. We will obviously delve more into details when we talk about moon in Capricorn for each individual ascendant sign, because those placements can definitely give much more precise information about your horoscope. Meanwhile, please do Share your comments and observation related to this placement of Moon in Capricorn. I really look forward to hearing from you in your daily experiences with this. So thank you again for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.